Hey everyone, welcome back to TheTopher Drives, where today we're getting the chance to give you some very fresh and first initial impressions on the 2024 BMW 530i xDrive, the new G60 chassis of 5 Series, brand new for 2024. It's been a minute since we've had a new 5 Series, and well, BMW has just recently delivered this. And well, this is the first time I'm actually seeing it in person, and it's doing that BMW thing where I do actually like it better in person than I did in the press release and all of the pictures that I've seen of this car prior to today. Do I think it looks as good as the outgoing 5 Series? No, I don't, but it kind of fits into this very flat aerodynamic design language that BMW has been striving for with a lot of their new cars. They're kind of trying to make everything look electric, and well, they do make an electric version of the new 5 Series, of course, called the i5. You can also have a 540i version of this, and as of now, there are no plans for an M550i, but I'm sure we will see an M5 down the line, but the 550i trim may be gone for good. I hope not, though, because I really liked that one. So in the 530i, which is what we have here in front of us, under the hood, we have BMW's B48 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. In the 530i xDrive, it makes 255 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. And of course, like they always are, power is sent to all 4 wheels via an 8-speed automatic transmission. As far as I know, this is the same ZF 8HP that we pretty much always get in these 8-speed automatic BMWs. And apologies for sounding a little hoarse. I woke up with a bit of a sore throat today, and I don't know if it's because I mouth-breathed hotel air all night or if it's because I am ill. But bear with me here. I might not be able to do as much talking as normal, which some of you may like, but we'll give you some first impressions here on the 530i xDrive. So here is our B48. Not sure what all has been revised, if anything, for this year, but I do love this engine. It's probably my favorite 4-cylinder for just a regular car because it's so quiet, it's so refined, and you guys will see that in efficient mode. You can barely even hear this thing. It's basically an EV. And I find it peculiar that there's no sort of sound deadening or fire resistant material under our hood. It's just a hood. It looks like there's holes for one, so maybe this is a pre-production car and it doesn't have it. I'm not too sure, but I thought that that was a little bit strange that we don't have that. And this car is finished in Cape York Green, which is the color we had, and that did not shut, which is the color we had on our X1 earlier this year, and I was a big fan of it on that car. And we also have an espresso or mocha interior here. It's a green on brown spec. You know how I feel about green on brown. It is the way to go. I'm a big fan of Cape York Green on pretty much everything I have seen it on thus far, and I think that is a shut hood this time around. So we have some active front grills. A lot of this kind of just doesn't do anything. We have a lot of blocked off panels, and you can see we have little slits here that open up as you go along when the car needs some air. So the grills are more so now just a design element, as they kind of have been for a while, but at least they haven't gone with the obnoxious vertical grills that they have on the M3 and M4 and 4 Series. I think the 5 Series still looks classy enough. It's just a little bit boring to me. I don't know that I'm really like dying to see this car right now. My favorite part is the back. I think the taillights look really nice, the design elements here in the bumper. But what I thought was strange is that we have these little cutouts for exhaust tips. They're very aggressive cutouts, but there's no exhaust tip, and that is because it has a little poopy little dump under each side like an Explorer ST. So it's kind of like a fake little exhaust cutout, and the actual exhaust you can't even see. I'll insert a shot of B-roll here so you guys can see what I'm on about. This particular 530i has a ton of options. It's about $70,000. Starts around 60 grand. One of our options here being a power trunk. So, you know, it's a 5 Series. I guess you gotta have the power trunk. We can fold our seats down with these levers right here on left and right. Pretty big trunk, and similar to other BMWs now, it's very sort of long and deep. So if you like skiing or golfing or anything like that, BMW has made the trunk just for you. You can also have this 530i without xDrive. Starts about $5 grand cheaper, but usually xDrive is the way to go. It's probably the majority of the ones that they will sell for their northern customers living in Michigan. Pretty much every single one of these you see is an xDrive. 60/40 folding rear seats, not completely flat, but at least the seats go down. Some BMWs, all you have is that silly little ski chute in the middle. So a little bit of added practicality here with the 5 Series. The G60 5 Series. Lots of good padding here. Let's test out this back seat and see how it is. We also have a Bowers & Wilkins sound system here. Oh yeah. I've got a good amount of room. We have an almost entirely glass panoramic roof on this 530i. So that lets a little bit more light in here. And as far as headroom goes, it seems uncompromised. Even with a camera on my face, I've got a ton of room back here. I'm 5'11", sat behind myself. Pretty good. And you also have, in a 5 Series, a spot to mount a tablet. So if you're an executive businessman, you want to do some work in the back of your 530i, you're able to do so. Full down armrest with cup holders, 2 USB-C ports, but no climate control panel back here, which I think is a bit strange for a $70,000 luxury sedan. I would expect to see one. Maybe in some higher trim cars you can get one, but on my test car today, we don't have one. We just have a little pocket down here for a phone. I don't know, guys, what do you think? Are you a fan of the design language here with BMW as a whole and with this new G60 generation 5 Series? I'm wondering if maybe this car will age a little bit nicer than, say, something like the E60, just because I think they played it a little safe, but I guess we'll see. What do we have gluing us to the road? 245/35 R21, and we have some BMW individual branded wheels. So that must be some sort of package we have on here because we don't have an individual color. Cape York green is a standard color, as well as our brown interior. So 21-inch wheels. Let's see if the ride is compromised. I've only been driving this car for about half an hour, so these will be pretty fresh first impressions for you guys. And hopping in here right off the bat, I'm reminded of the G70 7 Series, which came out last year and which we drove at last year's Test Fest, which was in Palm Springs. This year we are in South Carolina. And I'm kind of getting that same vibe here with this M Sport steering wheel that's flat on the bottom and very thick. Of course, we have iDrive 8 and just a pretty standard dashboard design. Nothing really too crazy in here. I like the wood grain here. It's a matte, kind of textured, real feeling wood. In fact, it may be real wood. And yeah, so not too bad. No power doors here on the 5 Series. You got to step up to the 7 if you want that. And our new era BMW bong. I like the outgoing one better. I thought maybe they would kind of limit the whoom, whoom, whoom to just EVs, but they're on everything now, or that bong is on everything. We have a split folding armrest here in the middle. We have our tiny little guy shifter there that works the same as it does on pretty much every new BMW. We have a crystal or transparent here iDrive knob. We have a volume knob or slider here on the right. Start stop button here, and we have a wireless phone charger. But if you have, if I can get it out of my pocket, if you have an iPhone Max like this, doesn't matter what generation it is, it doesn't fit. So unless you have, yep, and then it triggers Siri. No, thank you. So if you have a case, I don't know if it's, let's see if it fits without a case, because it does not fit with the case. But I mean, if you're going around freeballing your $1,500 iPhone, I don't really know that you want to do that. Okay, so it does fit without a case. So if you have an iPhone Pro Max, you have to get rid of your phone case in order to wirelessly charge it here in the G60 5 Series. And I may actually play that game because my phone is on like 30%. So we're going to see the wireless charge on this side. I don't know how to work this wireless charger, but it's a little bit irritating. Okay, maybe we're not wirelessly charging today. We'll just put the case back on and we'll do our thing. Okay, anyway, so you'd think that, you know, with all of the large phones being out in today's society, they would make that a little bit larger, but you've got 2 spots here to do so. Our glove box is a physical button, which is nice. We've got our drive route in there, so we're going to close that back. On the 7 Series, it is a button, so you got to hope that that doesn't break, but you'll be able to still get into this glove box 10 years down the road. And like the 7 Series, our pano roof closes from front to back. I'm going to leave that open for us today, get some extra light in here. And guys, I apologize. I'm also going to turn the air conditioning up just slightly because I don't want my GoPro to overheat. So you will hear a little bit of vent noise. I do apologize. But let's get this thing out for a drive because my forehead is roasting. So normal iDrive 8 stuff. Looks like they've done a few little updates here. I think this panel down here for our climate control is simplified a little bit. You now have a direct button for your fan speed, which I appreciate. I don't like the vent aim controls. Those are like the ones you get in the 7 Series. Why are we trying to hide everything? Buttons aren't a bad thing. Switches aren't a bad thing. I don't know. This new era of BMW, they're trying so hard to just simplify everything, and it's almost like it's going backwards. Cluster is the same as anything else you'd get now in a BMW. Here is our reverse camera. We've got a nice looking 360 camera as well. You can set a backup assistant. If you're backing into the same spot every day, you can have the car memorize that for you. And at low speeds, we have very, very nice light steering, which is crucial to a good luxury car. And with a starting price of $60,000, I would say that this falls into that category, and especially with this one being 70 grand. Of course, the M Sport package adds about $4,000 to that price tag, and that is not a package that I would select on a 530i because, I mean, why do you need M Sport bits on a car like this? I don't really know, but we're going to go ahead and take this up into a pretty scenic mountain road. We're going to take it pretty easy. Somebody already crashed this morning, really sadly, in a car that you guys know. The signal green individual M3 CS is no more. It met its demise about 2 hours ago up in the hills here in South Carolina. So we're going to get around Mr. Cyclist here. Always make sure to be polite. And we'll take this thing around some corners, but the most important thing with the 5 Series is comfort. And I'm happy to report these seats are very nice. They're not as couchy, of course, as the 7 Series, but they are quite a treat. I'm not feeling any sort of fatigue yet. We're going to skip ahead just slightly. We're going to throw ourselves into sport mode just because this is, I think, the only chance we're going to get to do an acceleration. So let's put this into sport transmission mode. We are in sport, and we're just going to go ahead and give it the beans off the line here. So it seems like we have a little bit of a lazier tune on our ZF 8-speed. I noticed this earlier on my drive out here. It's not really snapping off shifts like it does in some other cars when you select sport mode. So I don't really think that that's necessarily a bad thing because it's a 5 Series. I don't want this car to rip my head off. So I think they may have actually gotten the tuning right with this car because our shifts are still fast, they're still precise, but they don't rip your head off like they do in some of the other 8 HP equipped cars. And some of this has to do with it being paired to the B48. They've never been as aggressive, but this one still feels a little bit more numb than I am used to with this transmission. No sporty sounds at all, just a very smooth wave of quietness. And you guys can see how tight this road is. On my way out filming the winding road video, I had a Chevy Traverse cross the double yellow and almost kill me. So that's why, another reason I'm saying take it easy on this road, or I'm going to take it easy. There's also cyclists around every blind corner. There's people walking, there's neighborhoods. So forgive me for not pushing this thing 10/10ths up here on this road. This part in particular, the second half of the road, which you all are seeing is the first half, is especially tight, so we're taking it easy. Beautiful houses up here. Man, what a cool place to live. really don't like about iDrive 8 is that when you switch drive modes, it keeps the screen of the designated mode. It's very strange. I wonder if there's a way to set it to not do that. I've never found a way. Unlike Drake Bell, I've never found a way. Plenty of torque to get you out of the corners, 295 pound-feet. I mean, this is really all you need in this 530i. I'm not really longing for more power, and the fact that I'm even up in a mountain road here with a base model 5 Series, the fact that it's even able to, do as much performance driving as it's doing without complaining is quite nice. Fastest way I've found to get rid of this screen is just to click My Modes twice, and then it goes back to your map. Steering tightens up nicely, and honestly, it feels pretty dang good for the size of this car. Yeah, it's a little vague, but it gets the job done. I mean, I have to keep reminding myself that this is a 5 Series, so I'm not going to be as precise. I just got off this road in the BMW XM Label Red, which is an absolute maniac of an SUV, and you guys will all see that video. You may have seen it before this, but you'll probably see it after this. And that car is just nuts. But this 5 Series is comfy, and what I like about this is that I can kind of go at a brisk speed here, and I can just get the road done, get it over with, not hold up traffic, and do it comfortably. I don't feel like I'm pushing the car too hard. The car doesn't really feel stressed. We're just doing the thing here. Shift lights there. Brake pedal feels pretty nice. A little bit of squish at the top, but then you get that nice bite. You do get blips on your downshifts in sport mode, which is nice. And I believe this is right where the M3 CS... Is this where it happened? No, this is not. Oh no, it is. This is where the M3 CS met its demise earlier. So probably a situation of cooking out of that corner and then looping around. Those cars, they're very visceral, and they can bite you, they can kill you. M cars, especially the M3 and M4, they are absolutely vicious. So how about ride quality, even on these 21-inch wheels? Well, I am very, very cozy, and I know that I mentioned the seat earlier is comfortable, but even on these 20-inch wheels, the combination of the comfy seat, the soft ride, and the pretty light steering, I mean, this is just a nice car to drive. If I were to recommend this to somebody that just wanted to have it for their commute and just for daily driving, this is a really nice answer, because this feels like a pretty large step up from a 3 Series. And if I had to rate the gap between 3 to 5 and 5 to 7, I would say this sits slightly closer to the 7 Series on a 60-40 kind of scale. And I'm sure we'll see some upgrades to the 3 Series for the next generation, but I mean, the 3 Series is a sports sedan at the end of the day, so. I say I'm going to do less talking, and then I talk the whole time. All right, maybe we should try and do some sporty driving, a little bit sportier. Yeah, not an obscene amount of body roll or anything. It's pretty confidence-inspiring to drive up here. Being built right there. Nice. And we are going to majorly slow down. That's the thing on roads like this is, I mean, people still have to like live life. And it will hold gears for you. Very nice. pleasantly surprised that I was even able to get into a 530i today. Usually they don't represent base model cars for the press fleet, but it's cool to be able to give this one a go. Handling so flat through here, yeah. It's pretty well balanced. Not a bad sound from that B48. I mean, it is just really, really quiet. And speaking of quiet, now that we're behind some traffic, let's stick ourselves into efficient mode, back into drive, and just whisper. This F-150 is kind of hustling. This thing is just whisper quiet in efficient mode, and BMWs have kind of always been this way. We have a 48 volt mild hybrid assisting our B48, which I didn't mention earlier, but helps startup sequences be a little bit smoother and just kind of smooths everything out in general. It's so funny when you come to these mountain roads and you get behind, it's always trucks. It's like F-150 or F-250 or big diesel trucks. You get behind them and you're like, oh God, this person is going to be going 10 miles per hour. But they always hustle. They always like drive at 10 tenths in their big trucks, and it's just the funniest thing ever. And this guy's not driving at 10 tenths, but he's going at a good enough rate to where I'm not annoyed. So good stuff. And here we are at just about the end of the road. So we'll kind of wrap up some thoughts here on the 530i xDrive, as I try not to absolutely kill my throat. I do want to film some more cars for you guys. Oh, why do I have to feel crappy today, of all days? Well, overall, I mean, it's just about what I expected. It's a nice middle ground, leaning more towards the 7 Series, in my opinion, from BMW. And we're just going to go because these people are farting around, okay? And it's a nice car to drive, even in 530i form. I think it's got plenty of power, plenty of torque. You don't really need any more of this, and some people will probably scoff at 255 horsepower and say that they need more, but okay, then get the B58 powered 540i, or get yourself an i5 M60, which has like 600 horsepower or something. So BMW has the options for you, and I'm sure we'll see an M5 come out soon, and that'll be interesting because this chassis, this body, doesn't really look like it'll suit an M5 design very well. So we'll have to see what the M5 looks like. I doubt it's going to look as good as the F90. The F90 is a beautiful, beautiful car, especially the LCI. So we'll see what they end up doing with the M5. But as for the 530i xDrive, pretty good option here from BMW. And I think if you don't need xDrive, and if you could do without the M Sport package, you could have a pretty nicely equipped car for around $60,000, which in today's market is not horrible. I swear, I always say this with these B48 powered cars, you could tell people that they're an EV and they would believe you. I swear. It's crazy how quiet they make these things. All right, guys. Well, we're going to pull into this park here. We'll give you one last look at the Cape York Green 530i xDrive. And then we will let you go for today. Ooh, my stomach is growling. It is time for some lunch. Let's, you guys hear that? Let's put ourselves in park. Let's shut it off. Let's take one last look here. We will just have to see if this thing grows on me. You can see those active grille shutters closing. Cool, guys. Well, thank you all so much for watching. Thanks for bearing with me today. A little bit lower energy than normal, but yeah, good drive here in the new G60 530i. That'll wrap it up for us today. I've got people talking over there, so we got to go. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.